What if no one comes to my funeral? It's a thought that flashes through the minds of many seniors living alone, brief, painful, and quickly pushed away. Behind this question lies a deeper fear that gnaws at the heart. Has my life mattered? Will I be remembered? Who will care when I'm gone? This isn't just idle morbidity, it's an existential question that speaks to our fundamental human need for connection, legacy, and meaning. And for the growing number of seniors aging without nearby family, whether by circumstance, choice, or loss, it's a concern that takes on increasing urgency with each passing year. Today, we're confronting this difficult topic head-on, not to depress or frighten, but to move through fear toward clarity, purpose, and peace. Because understanding the realities of aging alone, including its challenges and unexpected gifts, is the first step toward creating a meaningful final chapter on your own terms. Whether you're already navigating solo aging or simply planning ahead for possible futures, the insights we'll explore today offer a pathway to approaching your later years with eyes wide open, acknowledging the hard truths while discovering the unique opportunities that come with charting your own course through life's final chapters. Let's begin by acknowledging the demographic reality. Aging alone is increasingly common. According to the US Census Bureau, over 27% of adults aged 60 and older live alone. Approximately 15 million Americans. This number continues to rise as the boomer generation ages, having had fewer children than previous generations, with many experiencing divorce or choosing single lifestyles. A 2022 study found that nearly 17% of adults over 65 are elder orphans, individuals aging without a spouse or children, or whose children live far away or are unavailable to provide support. This represents millions of Americans navigating later life without the traditional family safety net previous generations relied upon. This demographic shift creates both significant challenges and unexpected opportunities. Understanding both sides of this equation is essential for creating a realistic, empowered approach to solo aging. The hard realities of aging alone. The first and perhaps most practical challenge of aging solo involves navigating health crises without built-in advocates. Our healthcare system often assumes patients have family members to coordinate care, communicate with providers, manage medications, and provide transportation and home support during recovery. Dr. Maria Carney, geriatrician and researcher on elder orphans, explains, "The healthcare system is not designed for individuals without family advocates. Patients without children or spouses often receive less comprehensive care, shorter hospital stays, and fewer home services simply because there's no one to advocate for them or help navigate complex systems. This advocacy gap becomes particularly critical during health emergencies or cognitive decline, when the ability to make and communicate decisions may be compromised. Without designated advocates with legal authority to speak on your behalf, medical decisions might default to healthcare providers or court-appointed guardians unfamiliar with your wishes." The second significant challenge involves the practicalities of managing daily life as physical capabilities change. Tasks that once seemed simple, changing light bulbs in high ceilings, bringing groceries into the house, managing home maintenance, or recovering from minor injuries, become increasingly difficult without readily available assistance. These practical challenges often create a dangerous tendency toward isolation. Research from the National Institute on Aging shows that seniors living alone without strong social networks often delay seeking help for emerging problems, whether health concerns, home maintenance issues, or financial matters, until situations reach crisis levels. Beyond these practical considerations lies the deeper emotional landscape of aging solo, the loss of workplace identity through retirement, the death of longtime friends, relocation of neighbours, and physical limitations that affect mobility, all naturally reduce social connections over time. Without the built-in social fabric that family typically provides, maintaining meaningful human connection requires increasingly deliberate effort, precisely when creating new relationships becomes more challenging. Perhaps most profound is confronting existential questions of legacy and meaning without the obvious legacy that children and grandchildren represent. Who will remember me? Did my life matter? What will remain of me when I'm gone? These questions take on particular poignancy for those aging without descendants to carry forward family stories, values, and traditions. These realities aren't shared to frighten, but to acknowledge what many solo agers experience yet rarely discuss openly. Naming these challenges is the essential first step toward addressing them effectively, rather than allowing vague anxieties to grow in the shadows. The unexpected advantages of aging independently. While the challenges are real, aging alone also offers unique freedoms and opportunities that deserve equal acknowledgement. Many successful solo agers report discovering unexpected advantages in charting their own course through later life. The first significant advantage involves decision-making autonomy. Without the complex family dynamics that often complicate major life decisions for seniors, solo agers maintain complete authority over choices regarding housing, finances, healthcare, daily routines, and end-of-life planning. This freedom allows for decisions based solely on personal preferences rather than family compromises. Dr. Sarah Zeff Gaber, author of Essential Retirement Planning for Solo Agers, notes, "Many of my clients who are aging with adult children nearby actually envy the freedom of solo agers to make unencumbered decisions. Family involvement, while valuable in many ways, often comes with complicated emotional dynamics that can make major transitions more difficult." The second advantage involves resource allocation. Without financial responsibilities to children or grandchildren, solo agers often have greater flexibility in how they utilize their resources to support their own needs and preferences in later life. This might mean accessing higher levels of professional support, choosing premium housing options with built-in services, or allocating funds for experiences that bring personal meaning. Third, many solo agers develop remarkably strong friendship networks that provide both practical and emotional support. Without the assumption that family will meet social needs, those aging alone often invest more consistently in nurturing diverse friendships across age groups, creating robust social ecosystems that can actually exceed the emotional support some seniors receive from obligatory but sometimes strained family relationships. Finally, solo aging often fosters exceptional self-knowledge and resilience. Navigating life's challenges independently develops confidence in problem-solving abilities and clarity about personal priorities that serves particularly well in later years. This self-reliance becomes a significant asset when making important decisions about later life transitions. These advantages don't negate the challenges of aging alone, but provide important balance to the narrative. Solo aging, like any life path, offers both difficulties and opportunities. The key to navigating this journey successfully lies in clear-eyed preparation that addresses vulnerabilities while maximizing the unique freedoms this path provides. Practical strategies for successful solo aging. With both challenges and opportunities in mind, let's explore concrete strategies for creating security, connection, and meaning while aging independently. These approaches have been developed and tested by successful solo agers and the professionals who support them. Strategy 1. Create your chosen family. The first and perhaps most important strategy involves deliberately cultivating what sociologists call chosen family, a network of relationships that provides many of the functions traditionally filled by biological family. This network typically includes friends across various age groups, neighbours, professional colleagues, interest-based connections, and sometimes paid support people with whom deeper relationships develop over time. Building this network requires intentionality rather than the automatic connections family typically provides. Successful solo agers approach relationship cultivation as an essential ongoing project rather than something that happens spontaneously. Practical approaches include age diversification in friendships helps ensure your social network doesn't shrink simultaneously through age-related losses. Cultivating meaningful connections with people, 10, 20, or even 30 years younger, provides relationships likely to remain available as you age, while offering the benefit of different generational perspectives. Elizabeth, 79, created age diversity in her network by volunteering at a community college writing centre. I've developed wonderful relationships with both students and faculty members in their 30s and 40s. These friendships keep me current while giving me the satisfaction of mentoring younger adults who genuinely value my experience. Interest-based communities provide natural contexts for ongoing relationship development around shared passions, whether through arts organisations, learning cooperatives, spiritual communities, volunteer groups, or political activism. Finding your tribe creates connections based on authentic affinity rather than obligation. Neighbourhood cultivation involves deliberately creating relationships in your immediate physical environment. This might include hosting regular gatherings, participating in neighbourhood associations, or simply establishing regular check-in routines with those living nearby who could provide immediate assistance in emergencies. Thomas, 73, created a weekly porch gathering in his suburban neighbourhood that has evolved into a reliable support network. We started with just wine and conversation on Friday evenings, but over 3 years, it's grown into something much more significant. When I had knee surgery last year, these neighbours organised a meal calendar, transportation to physical therapy, and regular check-ins without my having to ask. Reciprocity practice means creating relationships characterised by mutual support rather than one-way assistance. Identifying ways you can genuinely contribute to others' lives through skills sharing, emotional support, time availability, or problem solving establishes balanced connections rather than dependent ones. These chosen family networks, when thoughtfully cultivated, can actually exceed the support some seniors receive from biological family, particularly when those relationships are characterised more by obligation than genuine connection. Strategy 2. Establish your legal and financial infrastructure. The second critical strategy involves creating a comprehensive legal and financial framework that protects your autonomy while ensuring your wishes are honoured, even if you become unable to express them. For solo agers, this infrastructure is not optional. It's an essential safety net that prevents the courts from making decisions on your behalf through guardianship proceedings if you become incapacitated without proper documentation in place. Essential elements include advance directives. Document your healthcare preferences and designate someone to make medical decisions on your behalf if you become unable to do so. For solo agers, this often means appointing trusted friends rather than family members as healthcare proxies, a perfectly legal arrangement that healthcare systems are obligated to honour. Financial power of attorney designates someone to manage your finances if you become unable to do so. This can be structured with triggers that activate this authority only under specific circumstances and with whatever limitations you specify. Professional fiduciary relationships provide an alternative for those without trusted individuals for these roles. Professional fiduciaries are licensed, bonded individuals who can serve as healthcare proxies and financial agents, following your documented wishes rather than imposing their own values on your decisions. Carefully structured estate plans ensure your assets are distributed according to your wishes rather than default state intestacy laws. For solo agers, this often includes supporting causes and organisations aligned with personal values, creating scholarships or foundations as legacy vehicles, or benefiting friends who have provided meaningful support. Long-term care insurance or designated assets specifically allocated for care needs provide essential protection against outliving resources if extended care becomes necessary. Without family members to provide unpaid care, this financial planning becomes particularly important for solo agers. This legal and financial infrastructure provides vital protection, not just for end-of-life scenarios, but for the more likely possibility of temporary incapacity or need for assistance during your living years. Having these documents in place ensures your voice remains central in decisions about your life, even when you cannot physically express your wishes. Strategy 3. Design your supportive environment. The third strategy involves creating living environments specifically designed to support successful independent aging. This approach recognizes that housing choices significantly impact both quality of life and ability to maintain autonomy as capabilities change. Key considerations include location optimization means selecting communities with excellent walkability, accessible public transportation, robust healthcare infrastructure, and services geared towards senior needs. Proximity to essential services becomes increasingly important as driving capacity may change over time. Universal design features in housing accommodate changing physical capabilities without requiring significant modification later. These might include single-level living, zero-threshold entries, wider doorways, accessible bathrooms, and good lighting, features that enhance comfort and safety while maintaining aesthetic appeal. Technological integration leverages innovations specifically designed to support independent living. Smart home systems for environmental control, medical alert devices with fall detection, telehealth capabilities, and medication management systems can significantly extend the period of safe, independent living. Community-integrated housing models provide built-in social connection and support services while maintaining privacy and autonomy. These range from naturally occurring retirement communities, NORCs, to co-housing arrangements, continuing care retirement communities, and innovative shared housing models specifically designed for solo agers. Martha, 68, created security through environmental design by moving from her suburban house to a continuing care retirement community at a younger age than most residents. My friends thought I was crazy moving here in my 60s while still healthy and active, but I wanted to establish myself in this community while I could easily make friends and contribute meaningfully. Now I have deep relationships, activities I enjoy, and the security of knowing additional services are available when I need them, all while maintaining my own apartment and independence. This strategy recognizes that environmental design can either support or hinder successful aging. By making proactive choices about where and how you live, you create a foundation that accommodates changing needs while supporting continued autonomy and social connection. Strategy 4. Develop your care coordination plan. The fourth critical strategy addresses the advocacy gap many solo agers experience during health challenges. This involves creating systems for care coordination that don't rely on family members but provide similar levels of support. Effective approaches include professional care management services provide experienced advocates, typically nurses or social workers, who can coordinate healthcare, attend appointments, communicate with providers, manage transitions between care settings, and oversee home services. These professionals serve as paid advocates with the expertise to navigate complex healthcare systems effectively. Care coordination technologies help manage health information, medication schedules, appointment calendars, and communication between various providers. These digital tools create centralized information systems that reduce the cognitive burden of managing complex health needs. Supportive primary care models designed specifically for seniors, such as concierge practices or geriatric-focused medical homes, provide more comprehensive oversight and often include care coordination as part of their services. These practices typically offer longer appointments, more direct access to providers, and better continuity of care than traditional medical models. Documented care preferences provide guidance for healthcare providers when you cannot advocate for yourself. These go beyond basic advance directives to include detailed information about your values, treatment priorities, acceptable quality of life trade-offs, and other nuanced aspects of care that help ensure decisions align with your wishes even without family advocates present. Joseph, 77, created his care coordination system after a hospitalization where he experienced the vulnerability of navigating serious illness alone. I realized I needed a team, not just documents. Now I have a geriatric care manager who knows my medical history and preferences, a concierge physician who provides consistent care, and detailed healthcare guidelines that express my values, not just basic treatment preferences. This system has already proven invaluable during 2 subsequent health challenges. This strategy acknowledges that advocacy matters in healthcare outcomes. By creating alternative advocacy systems, solo agers can receive the same quality of care and support typically provided through family intervention. Strategy 5. Create your legacy framework. The 5th strategy addresses the deeper existential questions that often arise for those aging without children or grandchildren. This involves creating intentional approaches to legacy and meaning that don't rely on genetic continuation, but nonetheless allow your values, wisdom, and influence to extend beyond your lifetime. Meaningful approaches include legacy writing projects capture your life experiences, values, and wisdom, in forms that survive beyond your lifetime. These might include memoirs, ethical wills, documents expressing values and life lessons rather than material assets, letters to important people in your life, or recorded oral histories that preserve your unique perspective and experiences. Strategic philanthropy allows your resources to support causes and organizations aligned with your values, creating impact that continues beyond your lifetime. This might involve establishing named funds at community foundations, creating scholarships, supporting specific programs at organizations you value, or other vehicles that extend your influence in areas you care about deeply. Mentorship relationships with younger individuals in your professional field, community organizations, or personal interest areas create legacy through direct transmission of knowledge and values. These relationships often develop into meaningful connections that keep your perspective and wisdom alive through others' lives and work. Digital legacy planning ensures your online presence, intellectual property, and digital assets are managed according to your wishes. This increasingly important aspect of legacy planning might include designating digital executors, creating provisions for social media accounts, and ensuring important digital content is preserved according to your preferences. Rebecca, 81, a retired educator without children, created her legacy framework through establishing a scholarship fund at her local community college, developing mentoring relationships with 5 young teachers, and creating a series of recorded conversations about her experiences during the civil rights movement. I may not have descendants, but I've created vehicles for my values and experiences to continue influencing the world. These projects have given me tremendous peace about the meaning of my life continuing beyond my physical presence. This strategy recognizes that legacy concerns are fundamentally about meaning and continuation, rather than specific forms those might take. By creating intentional legacy vehicles aligned with personal values, solo agers address the universal human need to feel one's life has mattered and will continue to matter even after death. So we return to the question that opened our discussion. What if no one comes to your funeral? Having explored both the challenges and opportunities of aging independently, we can now approach this question with greater clarity and perspective. The fear behind this question isn't really about funeral attendance. It's about the universal human need for our lives to have mattered, to have created meaning that survives our physical presence. It's about connection, legacy, and the validation that comes from knowing others have been positively affected by our existence. For those aging with children and grandchildren, this continuation often seems automatic. Genetic legacy provides an obvious answer to questions of meaning and continuation. But the strategies we've explored reveal that meaningful legacy and connection don't require traditional family structures. They require intentionality, creativity, and a willingness to create new models rather than mourning the absence of conventional ones. The truth, sometimes difficult but ultimately liberating, is that aging alone demands greater conscious creation of the support systems, connections, and legacy vehicles that might develop more automatically in traditional family structures. It requires acknowledging vulnerabilities honestly, while actively building alternatives that support security, meaning, and connection. What emerges from this honest examination isn't a depressing conclusion, but a clarifying truth. Aging well independently isn't about denying the need for connection and support, but about consciously creating systems that provide these essentials in non-traditional ways. The most successful solo agers approach later life not as victims of circumstance, but as architects of unique, intentional life structures built to support their particular situations. They acknowledge the work involved in creating these systems while recognizing the unusual freedom this path provides to design later life precisely according to personal values and preferences. This approach transforms the question from, "What if no one comes to my funeral?" to more empowering questions. How am I creating meaningful connection now? How will my values and contributions continue beyond my lifetime? What systems am I building to support my well-being as I age? These questions focus attention on what can be actively created rather than what might be missing, shifting from potential isolation to intentional community, from fear to purposeful planning, from assumed deficiency to distinctive strength. As we conclude our exploration of aging alone, I hope you've gained both practical strategies and deeper perspective on navigating this increasingly common journey. The path of solo aging contains both unique challenges and remarkable opportunities. The freedom to chart your own course balanced with the responsibility to create the support systems that sustain well-being. The question we began with, what if no one comes to your funeral, transforms through this lens from a fear to be avoided into an invitation to create meaning and connection deliberately, according to your own values and preferences, rather than prescribed expectations. Remember that successful solo aging isn't about doing everything alone, quite the opposite. It's about consciously creating the connections and systems that support your well-being while maintaining autonomy over your own life decisions. If you found this information valuable, please consider sharing it with others who might benefit, whether they're aging independently themselves or supporting someone on this journey. Subscribe to our channel for more content addressing the real challenges and opportunities of aging with honesty, practical guidance, and respect for the wisdom you've developed throughout your unique life journey. Thank you for engaging with this important topic. By bringing these conversations into the open, we transform aging alone from something to fear into a path that, while different from traditional models, offers its own distinctive opportunities for meaning, connection, and purpose in life's final chapters.